and here we go. Are you ready?
Ready?
Count of 2, 1, 2. Oh, 1 sec. What's happening here? What's happening here? Oh, it's looking for film. That's why. All right, you cocked it.
Yep.
Okay, so again, ready? Count of 2, 1, 2.
Love that sound. That's the old classic Nikon shutter sound.
But it's Canon. Yes, it's beautiful. Hello everyone, this is Take from bigheadtaco.com, and I'm here. I say again with Philip, but this is my second interview with Philip. You should be my co-host. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
You could be an employee.
Yeah.
I pay a penny per video. Is that all right?
That's more than I'm making now.
So hello Philip, how are you?
Good, Take. Nice to have you here in San Clemente with us.
It's a beautiful town here.
Very nice.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Hung out with Trev the last couple of days. Went down by the pier. We had dinner down by the pier. Thank you. You're a fantastic host, and you have fantastic cameras.
Well, I do. I do have a thing for cameras. I enjoy nice cameras. We were talking about this one in particular.
The Makina
Pablo
Pobel,
Makina. Yeah. The 6.7 format, obviously 120 format. Cult type camera.
It is, definitely.
Anyway, they make a second version, which is the Makina 6.7W, a wide. So
65 lens on there, 55 or something like that. This is an 80, so it's probably a 55 or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, I lust for something like that as well.
And you buy a lot of your cameras on eBay?
I do a lot on eBay and
Yeah.
a lot on various camera groups, which is a good way to go. They're good people, and you don't
can trust them.
Have the eBay fees. Yeah.
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 You have a funny story about your GX 617.
Yeah, this beauty, of course, is a Fuji panoramic camera. I've got the 90 millimeter and the 180 millimeter lenses that came with this camera. It's in just gorgeous condition.
Yeah.
It hasn't been used a whole lot, but I did buy it off on eBay, and it was slightly misclassified under the classification, so it wasn't spotted by many people, I think, because I wound up placing a couple of bids on it and ultimately got the camera for probably $1,000 or more than $1,000 less than what this comparable setup has been selling for on eBay. So
that's excellent.
Yeah, it was just kind of under the radar,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a treasure hunt where you kind of watch certain cameras that you could watch them for a year or 2 years thinking, boy, someday I'd like to have, one of those. But my problem is I like the Noah's Ark theory. I like 2 of everything. So
So you're looking for another one of those?
Yeah, I do have duplications.
You do?
in most of my cameras.
Like this. You got 3 or 4 of them in your little collection there.
These are prize cameras. These are cameras we give away with our monthly photo contest.
Yeah, which you're going to give away tomorrow at our conference workshop.
We are going to give away
Right.
a new F1
And
tomorrow, right over there,
yeah.
as a raffle prize.
Oh, very good, very good.
Just because that's fun.
Yeah, it is. So let's talk. We're camera nerds. We could do this all day, but let's talk a little bit about your work. You run the Darkroom lab. Like I said, we're doing this a second time, but this time we're actually in your office, and so we're gonna have a nice B-roll of the lab. Your fantastic staff,
right.
all the stuff you do. So explain your business, the Darkroom.
Well, the Darkroom is we're a film enthusiast lab. We're kind of centered around other film heads, if you will, people that get and understand and enjoy the pleasures of film.
Yeah.
All the the trials, the tribulations, the decision process, the camera selection, lens selection, film selection, what conditions.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending, expanding universe, and that's why we came up with. We're having a conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
With a pretty illustrious group of speakers and people slated to talk with about 70 or 80 people that have signed up to attend. We're kind of limited on the space, but we have a good number of reservations. We had to cut those off, but we're calling this a paideia.
Which is
it's
Greek for?
Yeah, it's a Greek term for really educating and continued learning.
Yeah.
And sharing ideas with people with like interests. You know, we got to thinking about this a while back, and you know, at least 6 months ago. You know, nobody's doing anything for film. I mean, it's just, you know, there may be a workshop here or there for thousands of dollars, or you know, this or that, but there's no trade association anymore to bring these people together. So
we had the PMA, but that's kind of
dissolved, and then you and I met
2 months ago,
and I've known Juan Martinez from Beers and Cameras for many months now, and Trev Lee, our chief photographer here at the Darkroom, for the last couple years now, so you know, as we get to know more people in the community, the more fun this so-called work is.
Yeah, so it's funny, I asked you about your business and yet you still kind of didn't talk about it, but I get it now, because really you don't see yourself as a lab. I mean, that is what you do. You're a lab, you process film, you scan film, people mail stuff in, you mail stuff out.
That's our craft.
That's your craft.
That is our craft.
But every time I talk about what you do, you always talk about the community. You always talk about helping people find cameras. You're always talking about other photographers. And it seems like it is your business, but this is also your business. I mean, Trev tests cameras for you.
Well, it's intertwined with your life, right?
Yes.
And so you better love your business if you want to love your life. And you're not always born into, you know, I happen to be born into the film developing business. My father had labs as I was growing up. I grew up in labs. So, you know, I've spent 60 plus years around labs, and most of them running and operating groups of labs in high volume situations, to today what the Darkroom is, a craft lab. We have dip and dunk processes for all three processes, true black and white, C41 and E6 transparency processing, and we added up the years of experience of our staff, person by person, kind of a little in-house bio of each person, and it's amazing. We have over, I think it's close to 600 years of collective experience in the film developing business. Yeah,
and I walked through and met AJ and Emmanuel, and you know.
Yeah, AJ's got 40 under his belt.
Just by himself.
Yeah, by himself, and then Emmanuel's got 45, I think.
Yeah.
You know, these aren't kids.
No, but you know, the funny thing is, you do have kids in there.
We do,
and I like that you had. I mean, other than the whole multicultural. It's a nice multicultural landscape. It's the age landscape, which I find is sometimes lacking in some companies. They're either all old or they're all young. But it's nice to have like Gage, the young hipster kid that's 21, 22, and then you have Emmanuel and AJ that have decades of experience, and they're all working collectively together.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Cool. Yeah, so I have a separate video of the lab tour, so I might embed a little bit of B-roll in here. But it seems like, Philip, you just want to keep on talking about cameras and the cameras and the community. But you know, you have some crazy swag. You have, I'll throw in some B-roll, but you have old film canisters from the 20s, from the 30s. You have some of the film dispensers.
A lot of stuff has passed through our lab over the years, and then even before that, certain things are attractive. Kodak was such a magnificent marketing company
for sure
of their day. They were, they're considered by many to be the Apple of their day.
Oh, they definitely were.
It was. There are a lot of comparisons, and just the marketing genius behind. You saw the little dime bank.
The dime bank, I'll insert that here about what it does. But that was fantastic.
Yeah, where they would put the actual camera dealer's name on one side, and then you would put your dimes in at different levels. You had enough saved to get certain Kodak cameras.
Yeah, excellent.
All the way up to with 36 dimes or whatever, it was a Kodak Vest Pocket number 2 camera. That was quite deluxe.
Yeah. And so as I go through they're more than just old stuff. It really shows the history of the cameras. And Trev actually made a good point about newer cameras, they often look so similar, and look at the variety of the camera. So, you can almost identify, you can find a camera that fits you and your style.
Well, you
With the
asked
old film
about
cameras.
the business too, and this is where what's fascinating is much has changed, but much hasn't in the way we conduct our business and we process and develop film. And the delivery may be different by scanning it and then uploading it to people's email, but the process is still old school. It's still, you follow quality control standards, protocol. It's still called a laboratory. It's still, there is a lot of art and a lot of science intertwined with what we do. And hence, it is a craft, and we're fortunate to have a good collection of people that add to that and add to the knowledge base, because these young guys that come in, like Gage, who's only been here several months, he's able to learn and glean a lot from these people that have been doing it for 40 years. And it is enjoyable to have people from different lifestyle backgrounds, ages.
For sure. And actually, it's hard to classify for instance, there's such a variety of film cameras, there's such a variety of film, and there's such a variety of people working. I don't think it's an accident that you have such a wide variety of different types of people, different age groups, different cultures, all working together, because they all have their own reasons why they love film photography and they want to be in the industry.
No, we have goals. I mean, we have situations where we'll say, among ourselves, we really need more. We need more women in the place, or we need more guys over here, or we need to mix these things up a little bit. It seems a little
lopsided. Trev, one job. You don't have to stare at it, as long as that red light is flashing.
That's one job too many.
One job. All right, like what always happens with this camera, it just goes dead for some reason. Fujifilm, you have to fix that. Philip, we were talking about your staff. How you have a variety of men, women, old, young, lots of experience, new, and you were talking about how you purposely you think about that, having the right chemistry.
No,
for
we
your
try
staff.
very hard to have a great mix of people, and number one, just hire nice people. I mean, it's as silly as it sounds. If you do pay some attention to that. And our production manager, Joe, he's extremely good with people. And
he is.
I think in an interview, he makes people want to work here because they would want to work for a guy like Joe. So that's important too. The ability to attract people. To want to work here at the Darkroom. So,
well, you used a great illustration before it cut out about the restaurant. You want to reiterate that illustration of like a fine-tuned restaurant and how
a really good restaurant, which are few and far between anymore. I mean, for a really well-run, busy, active restaurant with the food and the service is spot on and everything's working right and the lighting and just the whole experience is just perfect. That comes because there's a team of people everybody doing different things and working together to create the magic behind the restaurant. And it's very much the same way in a photo lab.
Yeah, and I can sense that. So we're going to see that in the video. I already did the Instagram stories video, but I'm going to go properly once Juan from Beers and Camera shows up.
Yeah, if he ever shows up.
If he shows up, it's 1 p.m. He's supposed to be here at 9:30.
You don't think he stopped for beers on his way?
I think maybe he did. But once he comes, we're going to go through the lab. You'll see what we're talking about. I'll also embed a little bit of B-roll in the video here. Phil, we could talk for hours. I already did with Trev. We have a plethora of cameras, all different unique styles. You love collecting cameras. You love shooting with film. We talked a lot about shooting digital versus film. What is your biggest pitch for someone who's like, why would I shoot film over digital? Maybe we'll use that as the last sort of subject we'll talk about.
I don't know. I guess for me, it's it's kind of the similar story. Just the nuance of film and the thought process between of what kind of film, what kind of camera to use. Am I going to shoot 120 or 35 millimeter, or my favorite camera, my favorite walk-around camera that I don't even have out here, my Hasselblad X-Pan.
You've well hidden that, I think, because you're afraid that me and Trev will steal it.
Yeah, partly that. I mean, I'm already missing one somewhere.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
Philip is very generous with his cameras. If you don't know, he loans them out to friends. Juan had the six. He had this for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And you actually lose track of what. I lose track of my CDs and my books. You lose track of your cameras.
I have lost track of a couple of cameras, so I'm better now at least taking a picture of the person who's taking with the camera. At least I have it on my phone, but then I'll lose my phone. So anyway, I think I think I probably lost the X-Pan, much less.
Oh, you think so, eh?
Lent it out. Although maybe it'll reappear like a long overdue library book. Part of the big difference to me too with film photography over digital, is that dwell time, that waiting period between when you shot the film and when you develop and ultimately see those images for the first time. Even though you saw them once, you took them. You were there.
Yeah.
But what happens with digital invariably is you're so busy with the device and the image that it robs you of the proper concentration, I think. And it also robs you of that pleasure, that latent pleasure of letting that film, wait a little while before you have it processed. Yeah, marinate if you want to call it that. And then, I happen to know a great lab, so and I get a special deal, so I print everything that I shoot. I love prints, and I'm a big fan of matte prints with clean white borders.
Oh, I'm the same.
And
I'm the same.
I do like spending a couple extra bucks and get 5x prints instead of 4x prints. It's just
slightly bigger.
That difference is just amazing, and especially true black and white. We do just an amazing job with
you converted
black and white.
You converted one color lab, and AJ was working on it, and all it does is print black and white on true Ilford.
A Frontier lab that was converted. There's only a handful in the world that have been successfully converted, and we have one, and our partner in the UK, Ilford Labs, has another one that they helped us get ours going.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
So anyway, it's not just because I have a film lab, but to be able to be around all the cameras and just the craft of film, to be involved in a living that is a craft.
Yeah.
It's a rare treat.
Exactly. And I think one last thing we talked about was, we sit around talk about different films, and we look at the canisters, and each film has it's like switching out sensors on a digital camera, right? You just can't do that. But when nobody sits around and talks about memory cards, hey, look at this memory card I have. There's no conversation there.
Yeah,
so there's more of a depth when it comes to film photography. There's more variety of cameras, more variety of film, variety of lenses, formats, different ways that we print it, different ways that we view it.
There's a lot of art and design in every element of film. If you just look at the film box and a canister, you've got this round cylinder device that some of the graphics and art on these is astounding when you think about it. The whole Ilford line of films is it's clear and regimented, but in a very
there's a flair
joyful
to it.
way.
Playful almost.
I don't know what it is, but there's no confusion about it. It's just, and it's just the art and the discipline of being able to properly label the film. And, I tease about lomography. We talk about films, and we're talking about these in our symposium tomorrow. Lomography has terrific films, and they're terrific value for your money when buying films. There are prices on 3-packs of, whether it's slide film, true black and white, C41. It's a great deal, and they're great films.
Yeah, and they have this really, I think it'll appeal to even the modern photographer that shoots digital, that's used to filters. They kind of have playful names and playful colors, and they have kind of unique looks.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, some of it may seem a little cutesy, but there are some stunning results coming out of some variants, Lomo Chrome Purple, and a little lesser degree Lomo Chrome Turquoise. But we get a lot of that through the lab, and people like the different effects, of those films.
Yeah.
Another very popular film in our lab that we seem to get a lot of is infrared film.
Yes, we saw a couple yesterday coming through.
E6, C41, and black and white infrared films. The true infrareds, not the faux. Like SFX, the Ilford SFX 200 is not a true, and the Rolly films are not truly infrared films. They emulate infrared effect, but they're not truly infrared. But we are able to properly process those films because we don't have any. We have complete darkness within our dip and dunk darkroom. So
I have a video of, I think, Corey going in. It's like a little rotating door, so it's pitch black in there.
We don't run any infrared cameras or run any kind of lighting whatsoever. So we've kind of become a go-to place for infrared film development. And Cine Still Film, you have the shirt on
Cine Still, hey Wright Brothers, how's it going?
We do tons of Cine Still. They're great films.
It is fantastic.
We enjoy dealing with them, and we're starting to see 4x5 Cine Still.
Yeah, you had some in your office there.
Yeah, 120. We haven't seen any of the 50D coming out yet, but that'll be shortly, I think.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. So, Philip, thanks for talking. We're going to do more. We're going to have lunch and then do more videos.
Lunch? Okay,
we'll do lunch and then we'll do more videos. But, guys, there's going to be more videos coming out. Philip, thank you so much for coming on. I have another video that I shot with him in San Diego, and I might embed parts of it because you said some pretty cool stuff back in San Diego as well.
I mentioned that we're in the mail order business. Well, that's how consumer photography began. That's how George Eastman, when he invented the Brownie camera, the original box camera, you would buy the camera for $1, and their motto was, you press the button, we do the rest. You would mail the camera after you shot the film back to Kodak. They would take the film out, develop it, send you the prints, reload film in the camera so it was ready to shoot, and send all that back to you for $1.
Are you gonna click with that one?
Well,
what are you gonna do? That's a fun camera.
Yeah, and then here's the bad part. If you only cock this and don't cock the shutter, you've wasted that exposure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It's like locking your keys in your car. You can't do it too many times.
You can't do it too many times. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy shooting. It's super quiet.
Okay.
All right.
And it's still videotaping.
All right. All right.
Thanks, Take.
Thank you. All right.